House will come to order. Good morning of the last day of the 2020 session, hopefully. This morning, the pledge will be said by Representative Tony Exum from House District 17 in Colorado Springs.
Please join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty.
Mr. Gregorio, please call the roll.
Representatives Arndt, Baisley, Benavidez, Byrd, Bockenfeld, Buck, Buckner,
Present.
Buenteo, Caravale, Carver, Catlin, Champion, Coleman, Cutter, Duran, Escar,
Good morning.
Exum, Froelich,
Here.
Garnett, Geithner, Gonzalez Gutierrez, Gray, Herod, Holtorf, Hooten,
Here.
Humphrey, Jackson,
Here.
Marquez Lewis,
Presente.
Kennedy, Kipp, Kraft Tharp,
Yes.
Landgraf, Larson, Liston, Montine,
Here.
McCluskey, McKean, McLaughlin,
Good morning.
Melton,
What's up?
Michelson Janae,
Present.
Mullica, Neville, Pelton, Ransom, Rich, excused, Roberts, Sane, Sandridge, Singer, Representative Singer, Sirota,
Here.
Snyder, Soper, Sullivan, Tipper, Titone, Valdez A, Valdez D, Van Winkle, Weissman, Wilt, Williams, Wilson,
Good morning for possibly the last time, Mr. Gregorio.
Woodrow, Young, Madam Speaker.
Here.
Two absent.
With 63 present and 2 excused, we have a quorum. Representatives McCluskey and Byrd.
Madam Speaker, we move that the reading of the Journal of Tuesday, December 1st, 2020 be dispensed with and approved as corrected by the Chief Clerk.
Awesome. Okay, you all have heard the motion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. No? The motion passes. Announcements and introductions. Members, we're going to pass these bills on third reading. Any amendments that we make have to be repassed by the Senate. Any amendments they make have to be repassed by us. So when we finish with thirds, we won't be done with the day necessarily if the Senate has made changes. So just a heads up to that. Speaker-elect Garnett.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. And thanks for that announcement. We'll do thirds right now, members, and then we will have at least 5 consideration of Senate amendments to House bills. So just a heads up on that. And so if there's no more announcements, we could probably get started.
That brings us to third reading of bills, final passage. Mr. Gregorio, please read the title of Senate Bill 20B-004.
Senate Bill 20B-004 by Senator Moreno, also Representative McCluskey, concerning transfer from the general fund to the Controlled Maintenance Trust Fund of money that will be available to the governor for a limited time for further transfer to the Disaster Emergency Fund for public health and emergency response expenses associated with the COVID-19 pandemic emergency.
Speaker-elect Garnett.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move for the passage of Senate Bill 4 on third reading and final passage.
The question before us is the passage of Senate Bill 4 on third reading and final passage. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, please open the machine and members please vote. Representative Escar, how do you vote?
Yes.
Escar, yes. Buckner.
Yes.
Buckner, yes. Jackson.
Yes.
Jackson, yes. Melton.
Yes.
Melton, yes.
Yes.
McLaughlin.
Yes.
McLaughlin, yes. Hooton.
Yes.
Hooton, yes. Landgraf.
No.
Landgraf, no. Kraft-Tharp.
Yes.
Kraft-Tharp, yes. Froelich.
Yes.
Froelich, yes. Sirota.
Yes.
Sirota, yes. Michelson, Janae.
Yes.
Michelson, Janae, yes. Wilson.
No.
Wilson, no. Jaquez Lewis. Representative Jaquez Lewis. All right, we'll come back to you. Champion, Geithner, Lontine, McKean, Sullivan, Neville, Sandrich, Tatone. Oh, there you are. Tatone, yes. Is that Sullivan? Sullivan, yes.
Madam Speaker,
Yes. Who is that?
I am on video, so I'm not in the chamber. So I vote yes.
I'm sorry, I couldn't tell who that was.
I'm sorry. Madam Speaker, that was Lontine.
I see you now. I just couldn't tell looking at the picture who it was. Okay, Lontine is yes.
And Madam Speaker, I'm sorry, my internet went out. I am also a yes. This is Representative Jaquez Lewis.
Jaquez Lewis is yes. Sandridge. Sandridge. Please close the machine. With 46 aye votes, 18 no votes, and 1 excused, Senate Bill 4 is passed. Co-sponsors: Escar, Buckner, Jackson, Melton, McLaughlin, Hooton, Kraft-Tharp, Jaquez Lewis, Sirota, Froelich, Lontine, Michelson, Janae. Tatone, Sullivan. Please close the machine. Mr. Gregorio, please read the title of Senate Bill 1.
Senate Bill 20B-001 by Senators Winter and Priola, also Representatives Harrod and Sandridge, concerning support for entities impacted by severe capacity restrictions due to the COVID-19 pandemic and in connection therewith making an appropriation.
Members, we are on third reading, so please return to your seats and be quiet while we're on thirds. Speaker-elect Garnett.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move for the passage of Senate Bill 1 on third reading and final passage.
The question before us is the passage of Senate Bill 1 on third reading and final passage. Representative Soper.
Well, thank you, Madam Speaker. Members, I don't normally come down on third reading during extraordinary sessions, but this is an extraordinary bill.
I'm going to ask one more time. Can everyone in the chamber please be quiet? Okay, please proceed.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Overall, I really like this bill. We need to be able to help our businesses who have really been affected by this pandemic. However, an amendment was added in the Senate that gives me heartburn for my particular district. If you turn to page 3, it's lines 10 to 14 on your current version or most recent version of the bill. It talks about that the executive branch will develop a framework to certify businesses that demonstrate exemplary compliance with public health orders. Mesa County, which is the largest county within my legislative district, currently has what's called a 5-star program.
I'm sorry. Okay, I don't know if it's just me, but it is really loud. Can people please be quiet while we're on third readings? That's what we do. If you're having conversations, take them off the floor.
He won't leave. Casey, he won't leave.
What'd you say?
He won't leave.
Oh, okay. Sir, we are on third readings and there are not conversations, so please take your conversation off the floor. This is what we do here. We are paying attention to what's at the well. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam.
Mr. Soper, please proceed.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Speaker. So Mesa County, which is the largest county in my legislative district, has developed independently through the business community and the local public health department what's called a 5-star program. And what the 5-star program is basically a variance within a variance. So Mesa County has been granted a variance, but businesses that demonstrate compliance with federal, state, and local public health orders are granted what's called a 5-star variance. They're allowed to stay open at least the 50% capacity. What this means is that in the window of their business, they will have 5 stars listed. Every day in our local newspaper, the Daily Sentinel, there's a listing of the businesses that have demonstrated this 5-star compliance. It's 100% voluntary, and it's a carrot approach, not a stick approach. This is also the reason why Mesa County's numbers as far as COVID infections generally have been much lower than the rest of the state. However, this amendment on page 3 gives our local business community a lot of heartburn. And while this talks about the executive branch developing a statewide framework, which on Friday, the CDPHE did ask for comment on such a framework, it doesn't specifically say that there shall be an exemption for counties that currently have a successful program in place. And that certainly has been quite troubling. Yesterday, I was working on a bipartisan amendment and unfortunately had not gotten back into the swing of things, so I do owe an apology to this chamber and to my constituents back home for not timely being able to run that amendment. What the amendment would have done is it would have added the safeguards to this. I'm also a political realist, and I know that this perhaps is not the time nor the place to have this particular conversation. So while I did have a third reading amendment drafted, I will save a lot of heartburn and not force a vote, or at least ask for a vote and beg for a vote. But instead, I wanted to explain why I have a lot of trouble with this. You may be thinking this is in the legislative declaration, and that the legislative declaration is not positive law for the state of Colorado. But it is a letter from this body, the General Assembly, to the executive branch saying what our intent is. So I would prefer not to have this language or to have this language amended. But if this language is going to remain, it gives me just a lot of concern that this is what we're telling the executive branch to do. And therefore, I will be a respectful no vote on the entire bill today. Thank you.
Representative Gray.
Thank you, members. I just want to take a moment to recognize the irony of the difficulty we've had in keeping decorum in this building while Representative Wilson can't be here today. Because I heard you, Jim, and one of the things I learned from Jim Wilson is he talked over and over again about how even on second reading, he sat and listened to every word. He sat and listened to the debate, and he's asked us so many times to step forward and be respectful of the folks who are of the process that we're doing here. And I don't know if he would have come down today and said this or not, but I see him up there, and I don't see him down here. And so I just want you to say that, like, we're losing one of the conscience of our chamber here. We're losing a lot of good people, but we're losing one of the people who's the conscience of our chamber. And so I want to say it's an honor to serve with you, sir. And also what we can offer to him is keeping that spirit alive, not making the speaker just had to ask us to quiet down about 3 times in a row. And we're the House of Representatives, y'all. So I would say, Jim, I'm going to miss you. I'm going to miss everybody who's not going to be serving with us. And please try to hold that spirit alive. Thank you.
Representative Harrod.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move for permission for a third reading amendment.
Do you want to offer the amendment?
I offer the amendment as that it be displayed. Do you have it, Laura? Oh, you got it.
All right. The question before us is permission to offer a third reading amendment. Is there any discussion? Representative Larson.
It's to the bill. I know, but it's still to the bill. Thank you, Madam Speaker. I asked to take a 21C on all matters related to this bill.
Thank you. So Representative Larson will be marked as excused for taking a 21C on Senate Bill 1. Any further discussion on permission to offer a third reading amendment? The question before us is permission to offer a third reading amendment. Mr. Gregorio, please open the machine and members please vote. Representative, let's see, Lontine, how do you vote?
Yes.
Lontine, yes. Froelich?
Yes.
Froelich, yes. Landgraf?
Yes.
Landgraf, yes. Jaquez Lewis?
Yes.
Jaquez Lewis, yes. Kraftart? Yes. Melton?
Yes.
Melton, yes. Buckner?
Yes.
Buckner, yes. Esgar?
Yes.
Esgar, yes. Jackson?
Yes.
Jackson, yes. Hooton?
Yes.
Hooton, yes. Sirota?
Yes.
Sirota, yes. Buckner? Oh, did I do Buckner?
Yeah. Yes again.
Sorry.
It's okay.
I'm trying to go in order. Michelson, Janae?
Yes.
Michelson, Janae, yes. McLaughlin?
Yes.
McLaughlin, yes. Let's see. Gray, Benavidez. Oh, you're back up there. Sullivan? Sullivan, yes. Tatone? Tatone, yes. Soper, Williams. Oh, Wilson, I missed. I'm sorry. Representative Wilson?
Yes.
Wilson, yes. Williams? Please close the machine. With 63 aye votes, no votes, and 2 excused, permission to offer a third reading amendment is granted. Representative Harrod. Representative Sane.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Members, this amendment came together by talking with my colleagues across the aisle and with several cities. But what this does is it opens up the opportunity for those businesses who want to be eligible. It honors their choice to be eligible. And if they want to follow the umbrella of an eligible city that wants to extend that eligibility to this particular business, it gives them that option. So it gives more options to neighboring cities, towns, and to businesses that want to fall under these guidelines. I would ask for your yes vote.
Someone needs to actually move the amendment.
I move Amendment L060. No, I'm sorry. I move Amendment 60.
Representative Young?
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. It has been an honor to serve with you. Speaker,
Thank you.
Madam
It is an
Speaker.
honor to serve with you, Representative.
I appreciate this opportunity to move this and support this amendment because there are many people in my area who, if this amendment doesn't pass, will unfortunately have an unintended consequence as they try to support their businesses in this very difficult time. And I believe this amendment is essential to provide protections for businesses that are following public health orders and really want to continue to thrive. Thank you.
Is there any Representative Sandridge?
Go ahead, Sam, go ahead.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. And I stand in support of this amendment. There's been a lot of work put in on this thing. What this does is this is a remedy to if you're in a business and the county is non-compliant, the city is non-compliant, this is a workaround that business can still get funds, okay? So if the business is compliant, what the conversations that we had, even associated with the governor's office, they don't want to punish a business who is in a non-compliant area. That business who is, let's say, does everything to be 5-star or is responsible should still be able to get the money no matter what county they're in, no matter what city they're in. So this is a workaround. This cures a lot of issues that I know my side of the aisle had. So I'm actually surprised we got this far. I really am. So I'm really proud of this amendment. Vote yes on it. Thank you.
Representative Harrod.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Members, I want to draw your attention to the names on this amendment. I think when coming back to special session, we all realized that maybe there was an opportunity for us to work with some folks that we don't typically work with. I want to thank Representative Sane, Representative Sandridge, and of course Representative Young for working very diligently over these last few days to make an amendment that actually works. We know that there are counties that are not complying with public health orders. We know that. But within those counties are cities who are. And they should be able to access these dollars for their businesses. But as I was schooled, a schooled city girl from my colleagues in more rural parts of the state and Weld County in specifically, there are unincorporated areas of these counties that are also doing the good work. Businesses are doing the good work to be in compliance with public state orders, and they are suffering from the economic impacts of the coronavirus. What this bill does is it says if you are a business who's located 1 mile outside of that city and you serve that city and you are complying with public health orders, that you may access and put in an application for relief funds. You must comply with public health orders, you must fit all of the other qualifications, and that city will determine if they want to bring you in and use their allocation to support your business as well, as I'm sure all of those businesses need to survive so that these cities can thrive. So again, I want to thank specifically Representative Sane, who worked very hard, not only for a messaging point, but to make real change for her county and to create policy that's good for the state of Colorado. Members, I ask for an aye vote.
Is there any further? Representative Williams.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Members, I do support this amendment. This is one of the main concerns that I had about the bill. I felt that it was somewhat punitive towards local communities and kind of runs afoul of the local control, I think, sentiment that this body, I think, traditionally supports. I do support it, but I still am concerned that this is very narrow. I mean, if you can read the bottom there on B, talks about 1 mile radius. Well, if you're not within that radius, then potentially you're going to need maybe other cities within the geographical radius that this amendment is outlining to actually cover you. And if that doesn't happen, then you're kind of out of luck. So I guess what I'm saying is I support this amendment, but really I only support it kind of under duress. I think it's good. I do appreciate the hard work that Representative Sane and Sandridge and Harrod and others were able to do in order to get consensus, at least on this. I think it gets the bill to a better place, but I think there's still some problems related to the punitive nature of the bill overall. But with that, I will certainly vote yes, and I encourage my fellow members to vote yes as well.
Representative Sandridge.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. And I had the exact same concern when I first read this amendment was B. Is a mile enough? What's a mile? Well, I'm not associated with these businesses. I know Representative Sane has reached out to these cities, and they said a mile is enough. They know their city. So, yeah, I thought a mile wasn't anything, but I was corrected, and she reached out, and she said, no, a mile's easily enough. So, consider that when you're voting. Thank you.
Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, the question before us is the adoption of L060 to Senate Bill 1. Mr. Gregorio, please open the machine, and members, please vote. Representative Wilson, how do you vote?
Yes.
Wilson is yes. Melton?
Yes.
Melton is yes. Kraftharp?
Yes.
Kraftharp is yes. Landgraf?
Yes.
Landgraf is yes. Luntine?
Yes.
Luntine is yes. Jaquez Lewis?
Yes.
Jaquez Lewis is yes. Froelich?
Yes.
Froelich is yes. Buckner?
Yes.
Buckner is yes. Sirota?
Yes.
Sirota is yes. Hooton?
Yes.
Hooton is yes. Jackson?
Yes.
Jackson is yes. Esgar?
Yes.
Esgar is yes. McLaughlin?
Yes.
McLaughlin is yes. Michelson Janae?
Yes.
Michelson Janae is yes. Sullivan? Sullivan is yes. Titone? Titone is yes. Gray? Gray is yes. Holtorf? Holtorf? Holtorf is excused. Please close the machine. With 62 aye votes, 0 no votes, and 3 excused, L060 to Senate Bill 1 is adopted. That brings us back to the bill. Majority Leader, or does anyone have any other amendments? Is that what? No, I have no. Okay. The question before us is the passage of Senate Bill 1 as amended. Representative Williams.
Yeah, that's on the bill. Sorry, Madam Speaker. I'm a bit rusty, as I'm sure all of us are. We're to the bill, correct?
To the bill.
Right. Okay, thank you, Madam Speaker. Members, yesterday during debate, I had discussed how difficult this particular bill was for me. And, there were certainly a lot of arguments about we shouldn't let, perfect be the enemy of good. And, we're facing reality as it is before us, and we have to ultimately decide yes or no. I felt it was important for me to at least come and explain my opposition to this ultimately for my constituents. They're the ones that I want to make sure they fully understand why I'm opposed to this bill. And the amendment that we had put on even kind of makes it a little harder because it makes the bill better. But ultimately, it's something that I still cannot support for a few reasons. I wanted to draw attention to page 3, starting with line 10. This is in the ledge deck. This was an amendment that was put on there, I think, to help make the bill better, where it talks about the General Assembly further declares the executive branch will, create this framework. I want to point out that, number one, this is in the ledge deck. It really isn't going to force the governor to do anything or the executive branch to do anything. This is sort of like a Mother May I request, coming from us. So it really doesn't get me or us anywhere to a point where there will be a framework that will help ultimately when we're talking about businesses that are located within counties or other local jurisdictions that are not in compliance with the public health orders that we're seeing. And ultimately, that's my problem with this bill, is that I do find it to be punitive in nature. There are counties, there are municipalities, there are local jurisdictions that do not want to comply with a one-size-fits-all type public health order coming from the executive branch. And for good reason. They have different needs, they have different goals in trying to manage the response to COVID. And I don't think the government, especially the state, should be in the business of being in this weird power play between county commissioners or potentially city councilors and what the governor says or what the experts from the state say. And that reason alone, I think, is why we should really be cautious about this, because we're essentially saying you can have relief, but only if you comply with what we're saying, even though that might not work for that rural community, for instance. There are communities here that don't have the same challenges that we may face in Colorado Springs, from where I'm from, or Denver, but yet they're being expected to comply with that one-size-fits-all. And that's a problem, because they're better equipped to know what the challenges and the realities are in real time in their communities. And us being here, governor being on the first floor, us being here, we can't speak to every single situation that they're dealing with, and we're not going to be able to provide the kind of solutions or resources or what have you that can help them respond. That's best left to them. And I think what also is a problem concerning this bill is that it's not only punitive, but it also asks businesses who don't want to comply to basically stop serving their communities in the way that they know how, so that they can get a little bit of relief. I'm going to be the first one to say it. There were 100 restaurants. I believe this was in Representative McKean's neck of the woods. You had 100 restaurants saying, we're not going to comply. And to that, I say, God bless you. I think we need a little bit of more civil disobedience. I'm sure many of you would not have expected me from Colorado Springs, a very conservative district that I represent, to even say that. But I think we've come to a point where we are beginning to see the bubbling of soft tyranny. And this bill, I am afraid, will encourage that, the tyranny part of it. And so, yeah, I do believe that there should be more counties and more municipalities and more businesses that do engage in civil disobedience and do tell the governor, do tell CDPHE and the other experts that, you know what, this isn't working for me. I'm going to continue to serve the customers in the way that they should be served, because it's their livelihood that's on the line here. There are people that are going out of business, not mainly because of the COVID, not mainly because of COVID, but because of the orders that are being imposed upon them. People are dying, they're committing suicide, they're not being able to be with their loved ones because there are onerous restrictions being placed upon them. And so I think it's come high time that more businesses actually rise up and engage in civil disobedience. I encourage it, and I encourage all of you to encourage it, because this is not tenable. And for those reasons, I encourage a no vote on this, but more importantly, I encourage all businesses to operate in the way that they should operate, and I encourage us to protect the freedoms and constitutional rights that God has given them and that we've been charged with protecting. So for that reason, please vote no.
Representative Kipp. Oh, I'm sorry, Representative Holtorf.
We're all too polite here. Hey, I just wanted to say, I really think it is irresponsible for anybody to ask their local businesses to rebel against public health orders. You are encouraging your businesses to have their licenses revoked by the state. That is unacceptable. You know what? In this chamber, some people have chosen to not wear face masks, to come over and talk to their colleagues without wearing face masks. I find that personally offensive. I am not going to tolerate people encouraging the kind of civil disobedience that will cost lives. That is not okay. Thank you.
Representative Holtorf.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. On a lighter note, Madam Speaker, but before my lighter note, this country was built on rebellion. It was built on, in our history, it was built on, a bit of defiance to government tyranny. So, not to give us the history lesson, let's understand the nature and history of our country and how this country has operated for decades, if not centuries. But not to preach or give a class. That's not what I wanted to do. Here's what my refreshing message, ladies and gentlemen. I have witnessed something this special session that is very positive. And I want to commend all of the representatives in this chamber on both sides of the aisle. Because in a time where we have had very little collaboration, at least meaningful collaboration that leads to consensus in the form of an amendment that helps the people. Now, I'm not here to judge anyone. In the end, God will judge us all. It's not my place to judge, nor is it any of ours. It is our place to protect ourselves and our loved ones. It is our place to do our duty as best we can. And I'll apologize on behalf of anybody who has been offended. There is a lot of tension. Representative Kipp, there's a lot of tension for a lot of reasons. But let's try to temper the tension for the betterment of the people. Let's not try to personalize things. If there are issues, let's use our leadership to address those. The proper channels, the protocols. For new members that don't understand the rules, let's help them learn the rules and be professional. But I digress. I am very pleased to see this amendment. I'm very pleased to see this legislation move forward. My hat's off to the legislators that collaborated and tried to reach an understanding. Now, I will argue as a country boy that lives in the largest district, 1 mile is not enough. I know folks that are out there 2, 3, 4 miles. I am 17 miles from my hometown. I mean, you come visit me. In fact, I'm going to invite the Rural Affairs and Ag Committee to come to Buffalo Springs Ranch, where the coyotes howl and the rattlesnakes slither, and the jackrabbits run afraid because they're trying to save their lives from Wile E. Coyote. It's lonely and it's quiet. So 1 mile is probably not enough, but I'm not going to try to make that issue. I'm just happy, ladies and gentlemen, that we have taken an incremental step forward in a bipartisan way to work together. And I commend all of you. We should have done more of it this session, and I ask that with next session we try to do more of it. Because I talked about the urban and rural divide. You want to close the rural-urban divide as bad as I do, and nobody wants that closure faster. And I talked to my good representative in the back about the National Western Stock Show. And we're going to work on something meaningful that's going to save our stock show for both Denver County, the city of Denver, and my rural constituents that love the National Western Stock Show. It is a big part of their lives, and it's a Colorado tradition. So let's do more of this next section. My hat's off to you. You have my full support on this bill. And anytime we do this kind of stuff, ladies and gentlemen, I'm getting excited about my job. And all of you know it's hard to get excited some days about coming into the Gold Dome. But let me tell you something. Today, at this moment in time, I am very excited about what I see, and I want all of us to be excited. I want to lift us up. Representative Coleman, where are you at, brother? We need to lift us up in a positive spirit. Okay? We need to find positivity in this chamber. So I ask all of us to do that, and let's do more of this next session. Thank you, God. Thank you, Speaker of the House, and thank you, both sponsors, for doing this. And all of you that worked on this, God bless you, and thank you very much.
Thank you. Representative Buenteo.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I just want to take one moment to push back on something that was just said a moment ago, that there is very little collaboration in this building. That's not true. That's just not. We might not like a bill or an amendment that's in front of us, and yeah, we all push the button, do what we got to do. But I'm very impressed and continually impressed with the bipartisan manner of this building and the respect that I believe that we all have for each other. You know, I feel lucky enough to call Representative Baisley and Representative Pelton friends. This isn't Washington, D.C. This is Colorado. We get stuff done. We deliver real results for our families, for urban and rural areas. Nobody has a monopoly in this chamber on the ability or the authority to talk about urban or rural areas. I represent a district that is 3,000 square miles down in House District 47. It's Pueblo, Fremont, and Otero counties, and I'm sure there are only 5 people in this building who know where they are. I got that. But these counties are in red code now. All 3 of them. It's terrifying. We've had dozens of deaths in Otero County in the last week alone from COVID-19. And I will admit, as a rural girl myself, I didn't understand what COVID was at first. I didn't understand the need for masks, why I suddenly couldn't go over to my godkid's house, why we couldn't sit next to each other in church. Those were all real impacts. And yeah, I wasn't great at first in practicing those things, but you know what? In the time since then, I've paid attention to what the scientists and the doctors and everybody else has told me about COVID-19 and the very real and very scary implications it has for people like my son, who is in the high-risk category. And in those rural areas, our doctors are working their butts off. Our hospitals are at capacity or nearing capacity. And I don't dare, as a daughter of a nurse myself, disrespect those healthcare workers by not wearing a mask, by going out to eat. And I don't encourage my small businesses to ignore the doctors, to ignore the scientists, because the bottom line is they're the experts. I'm not. I'm just a special ed teacher from Pueblo. All right? But I want my community, I want my district to hang tough and hang tight. I want Colorado to hang together, because I know we can get through this if we all hold tough together. The vaccine is on its way. We've got, what, 6 more months of this? We're Coloradans. We can and must do better. Let's stop wasting time. Pass this bill. Urge a yes vote.
Representative Baisley.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. And let me take this moment, my last moment, to say what an honor it is to serve with you.
It is an honor to serve with you, Representative.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. And also, it's been an honor to serve with you, Representative Buentello. I will miss you deeply, my friend. I want to respond to the exchange that we had just a few minutes ago with a reminder of where we all start from together. When I'm back in Washington, D.C., which doesn't happen very often, used to happen more often, but every time I would go there for business and working in the defense world, I would always visit, even if it were 2 a.m., I would go visit the monuments, especially the Jefferson Memorial. And I'd stand there and read these words because they challenged me beyond what was just already in my own head and heart. Reading those founding principles and going, wow, that challenges me to think further than I just would do on my own. And that's where I think we find ourselves in this basic conversation that has just happened. We agree together on the first day of each General Assembly to start in one common ground, and that's our constitutions, both the state of Colorado and of the United States. There are some basic things we've got to start commonly to move forward. We're all speaking English, we have a dress code we're holding to, and so on. But the one thing that we stand up and we swear an oath to is to uphold our constitutions. So going into this next session, I'm looking forward to working with you all on that. But I want to remind you of how the state of Colorado's Constitution begins. Section 1, and these are brief, but please have these. They're challenging, but have them in your head and heart, please. It's what we swear to uphold. Section 1, the vestment of political power. All political power is vested in and derived from the people. All government of right originates from the people, is founded upon their will only, and is instituted solely for the good of the whole. That's Section 1. Section 2, similarly short. The people may alter or abolish form of government. Proviso. The people of this state have the sole and exclusive right of governing themselves as a free, sovereign, and independent state, and to alter and abolish their constitution and form of government whenever they may deem it necessary to their safety and happiness, provided such change be not repugnant to the Constitution of the United States. The beginning of our state constitution invites us to abolish even the very Constitution of this state. So, bear that in mind, that a challenge given from Representative Williams is not outside the bounds of what is the people's right to do if they believe that they are not allowed to govern themselves. And that is reflective, by the way, of our founding document, Declaration of Independence, that where that came from, encouraging the people of the United States to rise up against its own government if it gets still too big for its britches. That's what we swear an oath to uphold. Please have that in your head and heart. It's challenging, but I think we need to always remember, never forget that we are governed by we the people. We do not rule them. The rulers are the people. Thank you all.
Is there any further? Representative Holtorf?
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Thank you, esteemed colleagues. This will be the last time, and it'll be very short, that I come up and speak on this bill, which I support with its amendments very strongly. I'm very happy to do this. It'll be one of my happiest votes this special session. But what I want to say with comment, and please, all of you take a bow. Please, all of you stand up and take a bow. I'd like to take a picture of it, actually. In fact, the media might want a picture. It would be awesome. But here's what I want to say to my colleagues that are fearful. One of my favorite presidents, one of my favorite Democrat presidents, and you know who I speak of, John Fitzgerald Kennedy, said, "We have nothing to fear but fear itself." I didn't say that. I don't have a Boston accent. I'm Eastern Colorado country boy. But I will tell you, which one was it? Help me out. Roosevelt. God, I got it. You know, history's a problem out in my hometown, too.
I was so sure you were going to quote Obama.
Darn. Okay, Roosevelt. I blew it. Darn it, I was practicing back there for an hour. All right, Mrs. Nell, history, what was I not paying attention? Anyway, the point is this. If it was Roosevelt, thank you for the correction, smarter than me in history, but that doesn't take much. I will tell you that this is a very important phrase. It's a very important statement. All humor aside, and I apologize for the error, that we have the beauty of our country, the beauty of what makes Americans Americans, the beauty of what makes us strong as Coloradoans and as Americans is our internal strength. Americans don't live in fear. We can live in fear if we choose, but in my humble opinion, we should not live in fear. Now, we can be fearful, and I'm going to tell you a really short story. When I went to Afghanistan more than one time, I'm not going to tell you that I wasn't afraid. There were days when I was afraid. There were days that I didn't think I was going to make it to see the sun come up. I was sure. And by the grace of God, I saw the sunrise the next day. But what I will tell you, what made our military persevere in that theater in those years and in those days, and what makes Americans and American soldiers, sailors, airmen, and Marines amazing, and what makes America amazing, is that we choose not to live in fear in the face of fear. That is a choice we must make during this pandemic. Now, I'm not going to debate science, and I'm not going to question the medical professionals. I think we need to listen, we need to follow, we need to do everything we can. But we also do not need to diminish our individual liberties, our rights to choose, and we cannot live in fear or use fear as a way to enforce or encourage others to live in fear. If it is your time, in my humble opinion, it is your time. You know, when I was in the combat zones, we'd say, when your ticket gets punched, your ticket gets punched. It's not your decision. If it's going to happen, it's going to happen. So let's not live in fear, Coloradoans. Let's not live in fear in this chamber. Let's rise up, do our jobs with strength. Let's protect ourselves. You have your ROE gives you the right to defend yourself. It gives you the right to protect yourself. But I am tired of us and others talking about living in fear and being fearful every day. Let's come from a position of strength to battle this virus, and let's walk from a position of strength as colleagues in Colorado and move forward to defeat this pandemic. And if it's my destiny for my ticket to get punched these 3 days and I go home and die of COVID in a week or two, then that is God's will, inshallah.
Okay, to the bill. Thank you. Representative Bachenfeld. Members, and there's a lot of talk. Let's just keep it quiet again during third reading. Thank you.
Madam
Please
Speaker.
proceed. Yes.
I've served with you once before. It's an honor to serve with you again.
Thank you, Representative. I really appreciate that. And it's an honor to serve with you.
Yeah, and this will probably be the last time that I get up and say that to you. So,
Thank you.
Thank you very much for all your hard work. Members, I rise in opposition to the bill for many of the reasons that have already been articulated by a number of my Republican colleagues on this side of the aisle. But one thing's been left out, and that is that this bill picks winners and losers. And that flies in the face of free and fair market principles. It carves out $13.4 million for special interest. We are in an emergency and in a pandemic, and we decide to carve out money for special interest. So one group of people gets treated more unfairly than other groups of people, and we stand around and we say that's okay. It's not okay. It's not okay. What other kind of emergencies are we going to be confronted with in the future? Are we going to decide who lives and who dies? If this is a test run of how we're going to handle emergencies in the future, then by golly, we're really, really dropping in our society. Now, I say you vote against this bill. If you vote against it, believe me, we'll be back at the negotiating table, and we'll be talking about the dollars that we can get out to everybody fairly and equally, not picking winners and losers. Thank you much for your time. Vote no against this bill.
Minority Leader Neville.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I was hoping you wouldn't use that title. I thought I relieved myself of it, but I guess I still am for a little bit. Members, I rise in opposition to this bill. It's pretty simple for me. Here we are in a state where the government has created the problem that these small businesses are now facing. The state has forcibly shut them down, threatened to take away their license, and now we're here saying, oh, well, the state's going to help them out. And that same state that forced them to shut down in the first place has complete control over where those dollars go. A better way to help out the people is let them be adults, let them make decisions for their own, let them open up their businesses if they choose to, let those customers voluntarily, freely choose to frequent those businesses. I trust the citizens of our state to make a right decision, and I think the state needs to move out of the way of our citizens being free people.
Is there Representative Sane?
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I just wanted to come up here and explain my vote on this bill. I'm very appreciative of Rep. Harrod and all that she's done in the last couple of days. It's been truly amazing, my last day here, so thank you for that. But just as I support a business that chooses to be eligible under this bill, and a local government's choice to be eligible under this bill, I also respect the compassionate choice that Weld County has made to not close businesses on their last gasp. To do everything, these businesses are doing everything they can to keep their patrons safe, but yet cannot comply and stay open. You may even be very surprised by some of the innovations these non-compliant businesses have come up with in order to keep people safe. Things that we can actually use across our state to help our economy and help our businesses stay open. But since there are some that simply cannot operate with the capacity parameters and still stay open, again, I appreciate Rep. Harrod's willingness to work with me to help not only my community, but all of our communities. Because again, I respect that choice for those businesses who can and want to be eligible. But the best kept secret, as you all know in this chamber, that our best work is actually done outside this chamber. Our names never go on those meetings, born of the power of convention that produces great results in our communities. There are two major sides to this COVID-19 equation that I keep hearing about in my community: personal responsibility and the ability to exercise it, and hospital capacity. The beds that are currently being reported aren't actual bed totals that the hospital actually has, but rather staffed beds. I would like to work on that side of the equation too, to see what we can do to increase that capacity as COVID-19 is raging not only across Colorado, but all of our states. When we come back to the compassion equation, I just want to mention, I have never heard from our county commissioners in Weld County blaming patients in Larimer and Boulder County for taking up Weld County beds. Never have I heard them suggest that we kick out those patients to make more room and make our bed count look better. They've never mentioned it once. But it has been mentioned in the county next to me regarding Weld County patients. We can do better talking to each other, listening to each other. And Rep. Harrod has promised to work with me to see what we can do outside this chamber to get some of these businesses to a higher capacity. And just for an example, I've had some gym owners talk to me and ask, we don't want any money from you, but what we need to survive in the next 30 days is a higher capacity. What they're asking for is a 25% capacity from the current 10%. The money in this bill wouldn't keep them open anyway for another 30 days, only capacity will. So I wanted to say again, we can rattle sabers at each other, but it's so much better when we come together and we work with each other. We made this bill work for some of those businesses that are outside some of these city limits and some of these non-eligible counties. We can do so much more together if we listen to each other rather than blaming each other. So again, thank you so much, Rep. Harrod, and I'm very much looking forward to working with you in the governor's office to make it happen. Thank you.
Is there Representative Harrod?
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I want to thank my colleagues on both sides of the aisle who have risen in support of this bill and who have worked so hard to ensure that this legislation works for as many businesses as possible. I will come back to the conversations on civil disobedience another time, but I'm sure we all recognize the irony in that line of talk. But I want to talk about the bill, because this bill is important, not only for us folks up here in Denver, and my constituents in Denver, but the entire state of Colorado. Businesses are suffering. Businesses are closing. Businesses are doing the best they can to keep their employees and their customers safe. Coronavirus is real. It is deadly. We are blessed and lucky to be in this chamber today, to be able to support and speak for our constituents. But there are people who cannot be here today because of this virus. There are people who have lost loved ones because of this virus. And we know that the state of Colorado can do better, can and must do better to keep people alive. But we also have to do our part to support these small businesses and pull together money from various places to provide as much support as we can. That's what this bill does today. But this is not going to be enough. We must urge Congress to act now. Congress must step in and pass a bill that provides economic relief for Colorado, for our country. The partisan bickering must stop. It stopped here in Colorado, and it must stop in Washington, D.C. Our businesses are hurting. We talk about the loss of lives from COVID. We must also talk about the loss of lives from economic devastation that is leading people into a deep depression, and unfortunately, some folks are dying of suicide. We must stop that from happening, not just in Denver, but across the state of Colorado. 41% of Black-owned businesses did not receive PPP. 41%. More than double their white counterparts. Brown businesses are disproportionately impacted by lack of stimulus dollars coming into our communities. We have artists who we've told their venues to shut down, and then we expect them to get paid some other way. They're not surviving, they're not thriving. We can do more. This bill does that. And members, you can sit. I know I get a little, you know how I do. But what I will say is that if you are not complying with public health orders and you are staying open, you don't get to get the money that these small businesses who have shut down, who are at 10% capacity, need from the state. I'm sorry, you don't qualify. You're doing fine. You're open. But if you are doing everything you can to comply, you need help. I think of my favorite coffee shop in my neighborhood of Park Hill, Honey Hill. The owner is a young woman who opened up her first small business just before COVID hit. I try to frequent her as much as possible, and I see every other week how the door and entrance has changed because restrictions keep changing. How she's tried to use the outdoor space and get a patio. How she's moved to a little cart on the side of the street just so she can keep people safe. She does it with a smile, but I know how much she is hurting. She doesn't know how she's going to make it. She needs help. She said if the state could just give $2,000 or $3,000 or $4,000 to get me through these winter months, I can come back stronger next year. And she knows the community has been supporting her, doing everything they possibly can to go and get a coffee when they can make it at home. But they need our help. They need our help. And this bill will provide the help that these businesses need. So I want to take a second to also thank my colleague from Weld County. Representative Sane, you have fought for the people in your county, but you've also respected your county's decision to not follow, to make their decision based on what's good for their counties, I'll say. But you found a line, right? You worked the policy so that businesses who are complying in cities that are complying can also get this relief, because they shouldn't suffer because their county commissioners choose to obfuscate the rules. Members, we need to provide support for small businesses. We need not to play partisan politics. We need to join together to ensure that Colorado can recover strong. And I hope that we can all work together to demand more from our representatives out in Washington, D.C. I stand in strong support of this bill. I thank my co-prime sponsor from El Paso County. I thank all of the members who have worked hard on amendments to this bill to make it work for their counties. We need to do more of this. We need to always support all of Colorado. This bill does that. I ask for an aye vote.
Representative McKean.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. It is an honor to serve with you.
It is an honor to serve with you.
Folks, I don't raise my voice up here very often. I think I did last year on 1420. I said, stop shaking the money tree, and I got a little head up about it. I'm torn on this bill, and I'm going to tell you why. Every single person in this chamber, every single person literally in this building wants to do whatever we can to help small businesses succeed. And yet, when I see how we parse that out, I have concerns. When I see how we begin in legislation to pick winners and losers, I have concerns. When I see how we take a large pile of money and start figuring out how this must go here, this must go there, this must go here, all because of the machinations, as we hear in Washington, D.C. all the time. This is how the sausage gets made. I grew up making sausage. It's not pretty. We all know that. But we literally have the opportunity here to make sure that what we do is done from a 30,000, a 40,000 foot level of saying objectively, if you meet all these requirements, if you go beyond that, then you can open. And I'll take a little rub to when we talk about Weld County. I live right next door to Weld County. I go to Weld County a lot. One of my best friends is a county commissioner in Weld County who has struggled with how to make sure his businesses will survive. And you know what he said? Which I think needs to be heard in this chamber. He said, as long as you go and you do the job that you know you need to do and keep your employees safe and keep your customers safe, then we think that that responsibility is on you. We think that responsibility is on the business owner to ensure the safety of their employees and of their customers, so that by sheer common sense, not government mandate, by sheer common sense they stay in business. By sheer common sense they say we are going to do everything we can to fight this evil virus. When we get to this chamber and we start talking about government solutions, often we forget common sense. And we forget what it is that we're trying to do because, well, we might be able to dictate these rules. And I'm not saying we've forgotten it here. I'm just saying I think application of it is important. And that's why I'm torn about this bill, because I worry that there's so much stricture in this bill that it doesn't allow a lot of the common sense to get through. And I think that there's an opportunity here that we may not have taken to say, look, we have examples out there in the state. We know what has worked and what seems to continue to be working in making sure that businesses can operate safely. And let's just take this for 1 second and put this into our own households. Am I able to go to the kitchen and get a cup of coffee and do it in a way that does not contaminate the other cups of coffee in the kitchen and make sure that I take that to where I want to drink that cup of coffee and enjoy it safely? Yes, I am. Therefore, should I be able to go to a business that makes sure that my cup of coffee and that employee does not in any way contaminate me and the other customers in that store are kept at a distance and under all the safety precautions? Yes, we can. That's the same kind of common sense that I'm talking about. Does it mean that we eliminate every possible risk? No. But can we do everything possible that we can do under a rubric of common sense to make sure that the businesses in this state, businesses that might have 1 week, stop and think about that for 1 second. There are businesses out there that might have a week left of being able to take the last dollars out of their savings account and be able to pay their employees and be able to keep their doors open. So I'm torn on this bill because I think this is some help. Is it enough help? Is it help that does not do what we so often do, which is break things into little piles and make sure that they go where we want them to? I'm not sure about that. I'm very concerned about it. But I will tell you that part of this conversation, when we get down to it, is how do we all survive what we are currently enduring? And many of you in here know, many outside this room know, that we are working in Larimer County and Loveland to try to get that permission, just like in Mesa County, to say, you know what, follow everything, go beyond the requirements that are here, and by golly, we will try to make sure that you can stay open. Because the worst thing we have is exactly what you just heard described, is despair, is depression, is despondency. Folks, this is an important moment. We are here to do the business to help this state survive. Thank you for considering it as much as you have and as much as this debate has brought.
Is there any further discussion? Representative Soper.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I wasn't going to come down here a second time, but I realized that a couple things had been said that I definitely wanted to mention. I represent rural Colorado, as you know, Delta and Mesa counties. I have minority-owned businesses. I have women-owned businesses. I have art studios. I have coffee shops. I have restaurants. I have hardware stores. Each and every one of these business owners have come to me and said, Matt, I'm struggling. We cannot afford another shutdown here in Colorado. But another thing they have said is that if another shutdown does come to Delta or Mesa counties, they will not comply because they cannot afford it. Knowing that this bill was coming, I reached out to several of them and I said, you know, the fiscal note says about $1,700, but it's cash for compliance. They said, Matt, that's not enough, and that's too little, too late for rural Colorado. I just wanted to point out that in this bill, it may sound good. The title may sound really good. The effort here may sound really good. $37 million for businesses who have revenues below $2.5 million. But this will not help my counties, which is why I'm going to continue to be a no vote. Thank you.
Is there any further discussion? The question before us is the passage of Senate, okay. Speaker-elect Garnett.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move Senate Bill 1 as amended on third reading and final passage.
The question before us is the passage of Senate Bill 1 on third reading and final passage as amended. Any further discussion? Seeing none, please open the machine and members please vote. Representative Landgraf.
Yes.
Landgraf is yes. Kraftharp.
Yes.
Kraftharp is yes. Wilson.
Yes.
Wilson is yes. Melton.
Yes.
Melton is yes. Froelich.
Yes.
Froelich is yes. Jaquez Lewis.
Yes.
Jaquez Lewis is yes. Luntine.
Yes.
Luntine is yes. Buckner.
Yes.
Buckner is yes. Sirota.
Yes.
Sirota is yes. Hooten.
Yes.
Hooton is yes. Jackson?
Yes.
Jackson is yes. Esgar?
Yes.
Esgar is yes. McLaughlin?
Yes.
McLaughlin is yes. Michelson Janae?
Yes.
Michelson Janae is yes. Sullivan? Sullivan is yes. Tatone? Tatone is yes. Gray? Gray is yes. Buck? Please close the machine. With 46 aye votes, 17 no votes, and 2 excused, Senate Bill 1 is passed as amended. Co-sponsors: Esgar, Jackson, Hooton, Sirota, Buckner, Michelson Janae, McLaughlin, Melton, Froelich, Lontine, Crafthart, Gray, Tatone, Sullivan.
Hopkins Lewis.
Okay. Representative Garnett. I'm sorry, Speaker-elect Garnett. Oh, close the machine.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move to proceed out of order for immediate consideration of Senate Bill 3.
Mr. Gregorio, please read the title of Senate Bill 3.
Senate Bill 20B-003 by Senators Fields and Crowder, also Representatives Duran and Landgraf, concerning assistance for individuals who are unable to pay their energy utility bills and in connection therewith transferring money from the general fund to the Energy Outreach Colorado Low-Income Energy Assistance Fund.
Representative Duran.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I'd like to ask permission to offer a third reading amendment and to have it displayed.
Please proceed. Representative Duran, please proceed with just a description of why you want.
I gotta move the bill first before.
I can't hear anything.
I gotta move the bill first. I have not.
All right, Speaker-elect Garnett.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and thank you, Representative Gray. I move Senate Bill 3 on third reading and final passage.
Representative Duran.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. So this amendment is a technical amendment, and what it does is it does two things. It clarifies that the funds are strictly only used for direct payment of utilities. The second portion, what it does is it extends the deadline from December 4th to December 11th. So it gives an extra week for the funding from House Bill 1412 to be utilized to really kind of reach the counties, rural counties that need the funding and the support the most, those in Kiowa, Cheyenne, around the state.
All right,
Thank
the question before us is permission to offer a third reading amendment. Any further discussion? Mr. Gregorio, please open the machine and members please vote. Let's see, Representative McLaughlin.
Yes.
McLaughlin, yes. Michelson Janae.
Yes.
Michelson Janae, yes. Buckner.
Yes.
Buckner, yes. Sirota.
Yes.
Sirota, yes. Hooton.
Yes.
Hooton, yes. Jackson.
Yes.
Jackson, yes. Esgar.
Yes.
Esgar, yes. Wilson.
Yes.
Wilson, yes. Melton.
Yes.
Melton, yes. Landgraf.
Yes.
Landgraf, yes. Froelich.
Yes.
Froelich, yes. Hawkes Lewis.
Yes.
Hawkes Lewis, yes. Crafthorpe.
Yes.
Crafthorpe, yes. Lontine.
Yes.
Lontine, yes. Gray. Gray, yes. Tatone. Tatone, yes. Sullivan. Sullivan, yes. Holtorf and Baisley. Please close the machine. With 64 aye votes, no votes, and 1 excused, permission to offer a third reading amendment is granted. Representative Duran.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I'd like to move L004 and ask for a yes vote.
The question before us is the passage of Amendment 004. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, Mr. Gregorio, please open the machine and members please vote. Let's see. Representative Wilson.
Yes.
Wilson votes yes. Melton.
Yes.
Melton votes yes. Jackson.
Yes.
Jackson votes yes. Esgar.
Yes.
Esgar votes yes. McLaughlin.
Yes.
McLaughlin votes yes. Hooton.
Yes.
Hooton votes yes. Landgraf.
Yes.
Landgraf votes yes. Luntine.
Yes.
Luntine votes yes. Kraftharp.
Yes.
Kraftharp votes yes. Sirota.
Yes.
Sirota votes yes. Froelich.
Yes.
Froelich votes yes. Jaquez Lewis.
Yes.
Jaquez Lewis votes yes. Buckner.
Yes.
Buckner votes yes. Michelson Janae.
Yes.
Michelson Janae votes yes. Sullivan. Sullivan votes yes. Tatone. Tatone votes yes. Gray. Gray votes yes. Please close the machine. With 64 aye votes, no votes, and 1 excused, L004 to Senate Bill 3 is adopted. Speaker-elect Garnett.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move for the passage of Senate Bill 3 as amended on third reading and final passage.
Minority Leader Neville.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. And members, I wasn't going to come down here on third reading and speak on this bill. Just thought you should know that.
Well played, Representative. Mr. Gregorio, please open the machine and members please vote. Representative Tatone. Tatone votes yes. Sullivan. Sullivan votes yes. Gray. Gray votes yes. Esgar.
Yes.
Esgar votes yes. Jackson.
Yes.
Jackson votes yes. Hooton.
Yes.
Hooton votes yes. Sirota.
Yes.
Sirota votes yes. Buckner.
Yes.
Buckner votes yes. McLaughlin.
Yes.
McLaughlin votes yes. Michelson Janae.
Yes.
Michelson Janae votes yes. Jaquez Lewis.
Yes.
Jaquez Lewis votes yes. Froelich.
Yes.
Froelich votes yes. Landgraf.
Yes.
Landgraf votes yes. Kraftharp.
Yes.
Kraftharp votes yes. Luntine.
Yes.
Luntine votes yes. Melton.
Yes.
Melton votes yes. Wilson.
Yes.
Wilson votes yes. Please close the machine. With 59 aye votes, 5 no votes, and 1 excused, Senate Bill 3 is passed as amended. Co-sponsors: Esgar, Jackson, Buckner, Sirota, Jaquez Lewis, Froelich, Kraftharp, Luntine, Melton, McLaughlin, Hooton, Michelson Janae, Tatone, Sullivan, Gray. Anyone else? Okay, please close the machine. Speaker-elect Garnett.
Read Senate Bill 2. Read the title of Senate Bill 2. Read the title of Senate Bill 2.
So we're back to Senate Bill 2. Mr. Gregorio, please read the title of Senate Bill 2.
Senate Bill 20B-002 by Senators Gonzalez and Holbert, also Representatives Exum and Tipper, concerning temporary assistance for individuals who are facing a financial hardship due to the COVID-19 pandemic and in connection therewith creating the Emergency Direct Assistance Grant Program and transferring money to the Emergency Direct Assistance Grant Program Fund and to the Housing Development Grant Fund and the Eviction Legal Defense Fund for this assistance.
Speaker-elect Garnett.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move for the passage of Senate Bill 2 on third reading and final passage.
The question before us is the passage of Senate Bill 2 on third reading and final passage. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, please open the machine and members please vote. Gray. Gray votes yes. Sullivan. Sullivan votes yes. Tatone. Tatone votes yes. Let's see, Jackson.
Yes.
Jackson votes yes. Melton.
Yes.
Melton votes yes. Luntine.
Yes.
Luntine votes yes. McLaughlin.
Yes.
McLaughlin votes yes. Hooton.
Yes.
Hooton votes yes. Landgraf.
Yes.
Landgraf votes yes. Kraftharp.
Yes.
Kraftharp votes yes. Sirota.
Yes.
Sirota votes yes. Froelich.
Yes.
Froelich votes yes. Jaquez Lewis.
Yes.
Jaquez Lewis votes yes. Buckner.
Yes.
Buckner votes yes. Michelson Janae.
Yes.
Michelson Janae votes yes. Esgar.
Yes.
Esgar votes yes. Wilson.
Yes.
Wilson votes yes. Baisley Ransom. Please close the machine. With 48 aye votes, 16 no votes, and 1 excused, Senate Bill 2 is passed. Co-sponsors: Sullivan, Titone, Esgar, McLaughlin, Michelson Janae, Jaquez Lewis, Melton, Luntine, Kraftharp, Froelich, Hooton, Sirota, Buckner, Gray. Please close the machine. That brings us to the end of the third reading calendar. Speaker-elect Garnett.
Thank you, Madam Speaker and members. We have 5 Senate amendments to House bills, so we will move to that next. But I do want to recognize that that was some rigorous third reading debate. I appreciated it, especially because the Senate came in on time and have been waiting this entire time. So with that, Senate, thank you for your patience. But like I said last night over Twitter, the House is always right. So with that, Madam Speaker, I would move to consideration of Senate amendments to House bills.
The next order of business is Senate amendments to House bills. I don't actually have a list. Thank you. Mr. Gregorio, please read the title to House Bill 20B 1001.
House Bill 20B 1001 by Representatives Young and Soper, also Senators Donovan and Quorum, concerning support for expanding broadband access for preschool through 12th grade education in connection therewith, creating the Connecting Colorado Students Grant Program and making an appropriation.
Representative, which one?
Well,
Young.
members, we're all a little rusty, so I want you to be paying attention because you'll have a roll soon. And I'm sort of calling on Representative Holtorf to provide assistance with this. We concur with the amendments done by the Senate. So please, we move to concur.
Representative Soper?
It pains me to say that the Senate made the bill better. So vote yes.
Can you tell us how, please?
I can do that.
Representative Young.
We all like doing things expeditiously and quickly, and the amendment that the Senate added really encourages consideration of the speed of remitting the funds as part of the grant consideration process.
Okay. So with that, the question before us is a motion to concur with Senate amendments to House Bill 1001. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, Mr. Gregorio, please open the machine and members, please vote. You guys can take, you're going to have to vote. Yeah. Representative Gray. Gray votes yes. Sullivan. Sullivan votes yes. Titone. Titone votes yes. Wilson.
Yes.
Wilson votes yes. Esgar.
Yes.
Esgar votes yes. Jackson.
Yes.
Jackson votes yes. Melton.
Yes.
Melton votes yes.
Yes.
Kraftharp votes yes. Froelich.
Yes.
Froelich votes yes. Buckner.
Yes.
Buckner votes yes. McLaughlin.
Yes.
McLaughlin votes yes. Hooton.
Yes.
Hooton votes yes. Jaquez Lewis.
Yes.
Jaquez Lewis votes yes. Lontine.
Yes.
Lontine votes yes. Sirota.
Yes.
Sirota votes yes. Michelson Janae.
Yes.
Michelson Janae votes yes. Landgraf.
Yes.
Landgraf votes yes. Please close the machine. With 54 aye votes, 10 no votes, and 1 excused, Senate amendments to House Bill 1001 are adopted. Speaker-elect Garnett.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move for the repassage of House Bill 1001 as amended.
The question before us is the repassage of House Bill 1001 as amended. Is there any further discussion? Then, Mr. Gregorio, please open the machine and members please vote. Representative Tatone. Tatone votes yes. Sullivan. Sullivan votes yes. Gray. Gray votes yes. Michelson Janae.
Yes.
Michelson Janae votes yes. McLaughlin.
Yes.
McLaughlin votes yes. Oh my gosh, the screen just changed on me. Wilson.
Yes.
Wilson votes yes. Hooton.
Yes.
Hooton votes yes. Buckner.
Yes.
Buckner votes yes. Sirota.
Yes.
Sirota votes yes. Jackson.
Yes.
Jackson votes yes. Landgraf.
Yes.
Landgraf votes yes. Melton.
Yes.
Melton votes yes. Froelich.
Yes.
Froelich votes yes. Jaquez Lewis.
Yes.
Jaquez Lewis votes yes. Lontine.
Yes.
Lontine votes yes. Kraft-Tharp.
Yes.
Kraft-Tharp votes yes. Michelson Janae. Oh, did I
Already
get
voted yes.
Sorry, I'll look over here. Esgar.
Yes.
Esgar votes yes. Holtorf. Please close the machine. With 51 aye votes, 13 no votes, and 1 excused, House Bill 1001 is repassed as amended. Co-sponsors. There's already a whole lot of co-sponsors. I think all of you all have already co-sponsored. Let's see. Yeah, looks that way. Okay. Please close the machine. She was already co-sponsored. All right. Speaker-elect Garnett.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. We're going to proceed out of order for consideration of House Bill 1003.
Mr. Gregorio, please read the title of House Bill 1003.
House Bill 20B 1003 by Representatives Cutter and Bockenfeld, also Senator Story and Heisey, concerning changes to the Food Pantry Assistance Grant Program and in connection therewith making an appropriation.
Representative Cutter.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Now that your gobbles are all warmed up, we move to concur. I'd like to move to concur with the Senate amendments.
Representative Bockenfeld?
Do you want to say anything?
Okay.
Right ahead. You're doing great.
Can you tell us what the Senate amendments did?
Yes, they tweaked some language, but primarily they increased the appropriation from $3 to $5 million for food pantries. Something we can all get behind. So we urge your aye vote.
The question before us is the motion to concur with Senate amendments. You guys can go back to your seats. Motion to concur with Senate amendments to House Bill 1002. Any further discussion? Seeing none, please open the machine and members please vote. Representative Sirota, how do you vote?
Yes.
Sirota votes yes. Hooton.
Yes.
Hooton votes yes. Jackson.
Yes.
Jackson votes yes. Esgar.
Yes.
Esgar votes yes. Wilson.
Yes.
Wilson votes yes. Melton.
Yes.
Melton votes yes. Froelich.
Yes.
Froelich votes yes. Jaquez Lewis.
Yes.
Jaquez Lewis votes yes. Landgraf.
Yes.
Landgraf votes yes. Lontine.
Yes.
Lontine votes yes. Kraft-Tharp.
Yes.
Kraft-Tharp votes yes. Sullivan? Sullivan votes yes. Tatone? Tatone votes yes. Michelson-Janae?
Yes.
Michelson-Janae votes yes. McLaughlin?
Yes.
McLaughlin votes yes. Gray? Gray votes yes. Buckner?
Yes.
Buckner votes yes. Please close the machine. With 59 aye votes, 5 no votes, and 1 excused, the motion to concur with Senate amendments to House Bill 1003 is adopted. Speaker-elect Garnett. That was the motion to concur with Senate amendments.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move for the repassage of House Bill 1003 as amended.
The question before us is the repassage of House Bill 1003 as amended. Any further discussion? Seeing none, please open the machine and members please vote. Representative Hooton, how do you vote?
Yes.
Hooton votes yes. Landgraf?
Yes.
Landgraf votes yes. Kraft-Tharp?
Yes.
Kraft-Tharp votes yes. Lundin?
Yes.
Lundin votes yes. Melton?
Yes.
Melton votes yes. Jackson?
Yes.
Jackson votes yes. Esgar?
Yes.
Esgar votes yes. Wilson?
Yes.
Wilson votes yes. McLaughlin?
Yes.
McLaughlin votes yes. Michelson-Janae?
Yes.
Michelson-Janae votes yes. Buckner?
Yes.
Buckner votes yes. Hawkes-Lewis?
Yes.
Hawkes-Lewis votes yes. Froelich?
Yes.
Froelich votes yes. Sirota?
Yes.
Sirota votes yes. Gray? Gray votes yes. Sullivan? Sullivan votes yes. Tatone? Tatone votes yes. Please close the machine. With 62 aye votes, 2 no votes, and 1 excused, House Bill 1003 is repassed as amended. Co-sponsors. You guys already co-sponsored, unless you didn't. Okay, please close the machine. That brings us back to House Bill 1002. Mr. Gregorio, please read the title of House Bill 1002.
House Bill 20B 1002 by Representatives Kipp and Landgraf, also Senators Pedersen and Sonnenberg, concerning the creation of COVID-19 emergency relief grant programs for the child care sector and in connection therewith making an appropriation.
Speaker-elect Garnett. We're doing Senate amendments. Yeah, Representative Kipp.
Thank you very much, colleagues. So I am here along with my esteemed colleague, Representative Landgraf, and we wish to ask you to concur with the Senate. But I have a good explanation. Oh, I move to concur with the Senate. Thank you.
Can you tell us what the Senate amendments did?
So the deal is that the Senate took the wonderful suggestions from my colleagues on the other side of the aisle over here, including Representative Larson and Representative Holtorf, and we got some legal scrutiny, and they agreed that by adding a couple of words, we would make sure that we had the broad intent that was originally intended by this bill. So I wanted to thank everybody for their input on this, and we do believe that the Senate followed the intent of the House in making this bill just a little bit better.
Any further discussion? Representative Larson.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. It's an honor to serve with you.
It's an honor to serve with you, Representative.
And thank you. And I just wanted to come down and thank the bill sponsors, both in the House and the Senate, and to essentially just confirm what Representative Kipp just told you. This is a rare example where there was collaboration and a good idea was incorporated. And this bill, we've made a good bill better with this. So please vote yes. There was collaboration, and this was a good day for process.
Is there any further discussion? The question before us is the motion to Representative Holtorf.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Thank you, esteemed colleagues. Once again, light shines in my heart as I watch this chamber and the Senate chamber work together. Here we are collaborating, finding solutions, working together, listening, and in a bipartisan way, in a true bipartisan spirit. And I thank all of you. I thank the bill sponsors. I thank the process and the leadership, Madam Speaker, especially you and those on the majority side of the aisle for working and facilitating this bipartisanship. Thank you very much.
Thank you. The question before us is the motion to concur with Senate amendments to House Bill 1002. Mr. Gregorio, please open the machine and members please vote. Representative Sullivan. Sullivan votes yes. Gray. Gray votes yes. Titone. Titone votes yes. Landgraf.
Yes.
Landgraf votes yes. Melton.
Yes.
Melton votes yes. Wilson.
Yes.
Wilson votes yes. Esgar.
Yes.
Esgar votes yes. Jackson.
Yes.
Jackson votes yes. Hooton.
Yes.
Hooton votes yes. Sirota.
Yes.
Sirota votes yes. Buckner.
Yes.
Buckner votes yes. Froelich.
Yes.
Froelich votes yes. Jaquez Lewis.
Yes.
Jaquez Lewis votes yes. Lontine.
Yes.
Lontine votes yes. Kraft-Tharp.
Yes.
Kraft-Tharp votes yes. McLaughlin.
Yes.
McLaughlin votes yes. Michelson Janae.
Yes.
Michelson Janae votes yes. Ernst and Catlin. Please close the machine. With 56 aye votes and 8 no votes, the motion to concur with Senate amendments to House Bill 1002 is passed. Speaker-elect Garnett.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move for the repassage of House Bill 1002 on third read as amended.
The question before us is the motion to repass House Bill 1002 as amended. Any further discussion? Seeing none, please open the machine and members please vote. Representative Froelich, how do you vote?
Yes.
Froelich votes yes. Jaquez Lewis.
Yes.
Jaquez Lewis votes yes. Buckner.
Yes.
Buckner votes yes. Michelson Janae.
Yes.
Michelson Janae votes yes. Sirota.
Yes.
Sirota votes yes. Hooton.
Yes.
Hooton votes yes. Jackson.
Yes.
Jackson votes yes. Esgar.
Yes.
Esgar votes yes. McLaughlin.
Yes.
McLaughlin votes yes. Landgraf.
Yes.
Landgraf votes yes. Kraft-Tharp.
Yes.
Kraft-Tharp votes yes. Lontine.
Yes.
Lontine yes. Melton.
Yes.
Melton yes. Wilson.
Yes.
Wilson yes. Sullivan. Sullivan yes. Titone. Titone yes. Gray. Gray votes yes. McKean. Please close the machine. With 57 aye votes, 7 no votes, and 1 excused, House Bill 1002 is repassed as amended. Co-sponsors. Let's see. I think everyone online has co-sponsored. Okay, please close the machine. Mr. Gregorio, please read the title of House Bill 1004.
House Bill 20B 1004 by Representative Valdez A. and Van Winkle, also Senator Bridges and Tate, concerning a temporary deduction from state and taxable sales tax for certain retailers in the state in order to allow such retailers to retain the resulting sales tax collected as assistance for lost revenue as a result of the economic disruptions due to the presence of coronavirus disease 2019 in Colorado.
Representative Valdez.
Madam Speaker, I realize that this may be my last time at the well with you up there, and I'd like to say what an honor it has been to serve with you.
It has been an honor to serve with you, Representative Valdez A.
And I move that we concur with Senate amendments to House Bill 10004.
Please proceed.
Well, what we did was we made just two small changes. We added a legislative declaration. We added vintners restaurants, which my colleague will tell you what a vintners restaurant is.
Representative Van Winkle.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Members, from the very beginning, we tried to keep this as inclusive as possible, tried to include as many, struggling restaurants, bars, brew pubs, drinking places, tasting rooms, sales rooms, bars, taverns, restaurants, and we realized that vintners restaurants were left out, and those who are serving wine and working like a brew pub but with wine instead also deserve to be included in this because they also are struggling, and we want to provide tax relief to as many as possible. So a little more tax relief for a few more Coloradans.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, the question before us is the motion to concur with Senate amendments to House Bill 1004. Mr. Gregorio, please open the machine and members please vote. Representative Lontine, how do you vote?
Yes.
Lontine is yes. Wilson?
Yes.
Wilson is yes. Esgar?
Yes.
Esgar is yes. Jackson?
Yes.
Jackson's yes. Melton?
Yes.
Melton is yes. Kraftharp?
Yes.
Kraftharp is yes. Jaquez Lewis?
Yes.
Jaquez Lewis is yes. Froelich?
Yes.
Froelich's yes. Hooten?
Yes.
Hooten's yes. Sirota?
Yes.
Sirota's yes. Buckner?
Yes.
Buckner is yes. McLaughlin?
Yes.
McLaughlin's yes. Michelson Janae?
Yes.
Michelson Janae is yes. Sullivan? Sullivan's yes. Tatone? Tatone's yes. Gray? Gray is yes. Landgraf?
Yes.
Landgraf is yes. Benavidez? Please close the machine. With 64 aye votes, no votes, and 1 excused, the motion to concur with Senate amendments to House Bill 1004 is adopted. Speaker-elect Garnett.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move for the repassage of House Bill 1004 as amended.
The question before us is the repassage of House Bill 1004 as amended. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, please open the machine and members please vote. Gray, how do you vote? Gray votes yes. Sullivan? Sullivan's yes. Tatone? Tatone is yes. Let's see. Melton?
Yes.
Melton is yes. Wilson?
Yes.
Wilson is yes. Kraftharp?
Yes.
Kraftharp is yes. Froelich?
Yes.
Froelich is yes. Jaquez Lewis?
Yes.
Jaquez Lewis is yes. Lontine?
Yes.
Lontine is yes. Buckner?
Yes.
Buckner's yes. Michelson Janae?
Yes.
Michelson Janae is yes. McLaughlin?
Yes.
McLaughlin is yes. Hooten?
Yes.
Hooten's yes. Jackson?
Yes.
Jackson's yes. Esgar?
Yes.
Esgar's yes. Sirota?
Yes.
Sirota is yes. Benavidez, Bachenfeld, Tipper, Valdez? Please close the machine. With 63 aye votes, no votes, and 2 excused, House Bill 1004 is repassed. Oh no, I'm sorry. The motion to concur with Senate amendments to House Bill 1004 is adopted. What'd you say? I can't hear you. I'm sorry, that was the repassage of House Bill 1004 as amended. Co-sponsors. Gray co-sponsors. Please close the machine. That brings us to House Bill 1005. Mr. Gregorio, please read the title of House Bill 1005.
House Bill 20B 1005 by Representative Byrd, also Senators Rodriguez and Tate, concerning authorization for local governments to enact restrictions related to fees charged by a third-party food delivery service to a retail food establishment.
Representative Byrd.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move to concur.
Please proceed.
So I think you all will like this. Every good bill needs clarity, and what the Senate did was make sure that we defined what a declared public health emergency means. We specified it and narrowed it to this specific public health emergency to address the COVID-19 pandemic.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, the question before us is the motion to concur with Senate amendments to House Bill 1005. Please open the machine and members please vote. Representative McLaughlin, how do you vote?
Yes.
McLaughlin's yes. Michelson Janae.
Yes.
Michelson Janae is yes. Buckner.
Yes.
Buckner's yes. Sirota.
Yes.
Sirota's yes. Hooton.
Yes.
Hooton is yes. Jackson.
Yes.
Jackson is yes. Esgar.
Yes.
Esgar's yes. Wilson.
Yes.
Wilson is yes. Froelich.
Yes.
Froelich is yes. Lontine.
Yes.
Lontine is yes. As Jaquez Lewis.
Yes.
Jaquez Lewis is yes. Kraftharp.
Yes.
Kraftharp is yes. Sullivan. Sullivan yes. Tatone. Tatone yes. Gray. Gray yes. Melton.
Yes.
Melton is yes. Herod. Please close the machine. With 44 aye votes, 19 no votes, and 2 excused, the motion to concur with Senate amendments to House Bill 1005 is adopted. I've had a request. I've been asked to call you really tall guy Garnett, who's soon to be Speaker. Garnett.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Get them all in, because at the beginning of the 73rd, it's going to be an iron fist up there. Just joking. I move for the repassage of House Bill 1005 as amended.
The question before us is the repassage of House Bill 1005 as amended. Any further discussion? Seeing none, please open the machine. Oh, Representative Sane.
See, there's a reason I do that. Thank you, Madam Speaker. Members, I'm going to urge a no vote on this bill. And the reason why I gave quite a few of that the other night, but let me just repeat again. I know we're trying to be helpful with this bill, but when the planning fails and the planners continue to plan and it continues to fail, adding more on top of it is not going to help the situation. Adding more government on top of a situation that was already created by government is not going to help. And in fact, when you add fees on top of a service, and granted, this is still fairly novel. I mean, we're living in an age where you can pick up kittens from Uber. That's amazing. You can pick up your very favorite food, and it's universal now. You can call up just about any restaurant, get Grubhub, get some of these services to deliver food to your door that was never, ever available by delivery before. I think that's amazing. But some of these areas are very hard to serve. If you don't live in a metro area, this can completely kill off some of those food delivery services. If you're not in an urban area, it's already tough enough to get food when you live in an area without bus service and other type of services, and grocery stores are far and few in between. But these delivery services will deliver to some of these outlying towns and some of these rural areas, which again, I think is amazing. But if you increase the cost or cap their ability to make a profit to do so, they'll simply stop. Which makes it even more dangerous if the whole goal is to try to make sure people are safe. To stay safe in their home, if that's really the goal, this is going to make people less safe. If they can't deliver to the door because they're stopping the service because it's now too expensive, too much wear and tear on the car, then those people are going to start going out again to the grocery stores and the restaurants. Grubhub, Uber Eats, all these services actually increases our capacity to respond to the COVID-19 pandemic. Limiting their ability to do so increases the danger to us all. So again, I'd urge a no vote. I appreciate the intent behind the bill, but this is only going to hurt us.
Representative Liston. That is really tall, Representative Liston.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and it has been my pleasure to serve with you these last 4 years. Thank you
You as
very
well,
much.
Representative.
Members, this is probably my last time to come down and speak to you all. First and foremost, I want to just say it's been a pleasure to serve with most all of you. Members, I do...
Most.
You can't tell whether I'm smiling or not. So, anyways, members, I do rise in opposition to this bill. I know it's well intended, but being the wise old sage that I am, I remember way back when we had President Nixon, and he implemented wage and price controls, and it didn't work very well then. And you look at when countries like Venezuela and Cuba and other Eastern European countries implemented wage and price controls, they didn't work very well then. And that's really what this bill is about. I know it's not the intent, but this bill really is a wage and price control bill. And you look no further than the bill summary, and you just go through the points. Says limit the amount of a fee, restrict the ability of a third party, require that any fee or commission, restrict a third party food delivery, impose civil penalties. Ladies and gentlemen, colleagues, this is a wage and price control bill. I respectfully urge a no vote. Thank you very much.
Is there any further discussion? Representative Gray.
I just wanted to say, I think it's also worth noting that we should have our condolences for Representative Liston on his demotion to the State Senate. We will miss you. Again, having your job title move down a little bit is always hard for all of us who work, but I've appreciated our time with you, and I apologize for the fact that you're going to have to serve in the lower chamber. I apologize, sir.
Okay, with that, Mr. Gregorio, please open the machine and members, please vote. Representative Gray, how do you vote? Yes. Gray is yes. Sullivan? Yes. Sullivan is yes. Tatone? No. Tatone is no. Jackson?
Yes.
Jackson is yes. Melton?
Yes.
Melton is yes. Wilson?
No.
Wilson is no. Esgar?
Yes.
Esgar is yes. Froelich?
Yes.
Froelich is yes. Jaquez Lewis?
Yes.
Jaquez Lewis is yes. Lontine?
Yes.
Lontine is yes. Buckner?
Yes.
Buckner's yes. Sirota?
Yes.
Sirota is yes. Hooten?
Yes.
Hooten is yes. Michelson Janae?
Yes.
Michelson Janae is yes. Let's see, who did I miss? Kraftharp?
Yes.
Kraftharp is yes. McLaughlin?
Yes.
McLaughlin is yes. Humphrey Pelton? Humphrey, please close the machine. With 38 aye votes, 25 no votes, and 2 excused, House Bill 1005 is repassed as amended. Co-sponsors. Okay. Please close the machine. That brings us to the end of consideration of Senate amendments to House bills. So I believe we have to wait for the Senate to finish their work so we know if we have more work, right? Or
I don't think we actually do, Madam Speaker. But, but what we can do is we can move while we're just double checking that, which I'm pretty sure we're in the clear because we know they actually did this to us once before. But with that, I think we should move to introduction of resolutions.
okay, well, I have a couple more things before then. Message from the Senate.
Madam Speaker, the Senate has postponed.
Message from the Senate will be printed in the Journal. Message from the Reviser.
We here
Message from
transmit.
the Reviser will be printed in the Journal. Introduction of resolution.
HJR 20B 10001 by Representative Garnett, also Senator Fenberg, concerning adjournment sine die of the first extraordinary session of the 72nd General Assembly.
Woo! Speaker-elect Garnett.
Did we just introduce it? Thank you, Madam Speaker. It's a joint resolution. Okay, great. I move to suspend the rules for immediate consideration of House Joint Resolution 1. 1001.
We will have a brief recess. The House will come back to order. Speaker-elect Garnett.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. So members will pass this resolution, which is the CNADA resolution. We'll go to announcements and introductions because I think a few people have a few things to say. We got to just double check that nothing's coming back to the House chamber. And then we can make one more motion and be out of here. So thanks for all of your hard work. So with that, Madam Speaker, I would move to suspend the rules for immediate consideration of House Joint Resolution 1001.
You all have heard the motion. The motion is to suspend the rules for immediate consideration of House Joint Resolution 10001. Seeing no objection. Are we doing a voice vote? Or have you read the title? I'm sorry. You read the title. We're just going to do a voice vote?
That was on suspending the rules.
That was on to motion to suspend the rules. Seeing no objection, the rules will be suspended for immediate consideration of House Joint Resolution. Do we have to take a recorded vote for that? No, okay. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed say no. The ayes have it. The motion to suspend the rules for immediate consideration is passed. Speaker-elect.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. And before I move the motion, I just wanted to take a moment to thank both our partisan and our nonpartisan staff. There's no way we could have had the call to come into special session and get to this point without all their hard work. And I think it's worth one more round of applause for our wonderful sergeants. Thank you for everything you do to help keep the quorum in the House. And with that, Madam Speaker, I move House Joint Resolution 10001 and ask for an aye vote.
The question before us is the passage of House Joint Resolution 1001. All those in favor say, any further discussion, I guess I should say. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed say no. No. The motion is passed. Announcements and introductions. Representative Sane. Someone asked, I'm not kidding you. Someone asked that I text you, call you. Representative, wait, I got to get it right. Representative really short gal. Okay.
Well, Madam Speaker, you can join me with that particular moniker.
Right.
And apparently opposites attract, right? Since we have a really tall guy for our next speaker. Well, members, I just wanted to let you know we've got a nice frame for the Kimmy Lewis Memorial that will be held next year in this chamber. I've got a golden pen, so if you'd like to sign this particular frame, it's going to have a very nice effect once it's behind this. And then we will give that to the family once the memorial's over, but it will be in Office 212 if you can't sign it today. But it'd be very nice if you could, if you served with Representative Lewis. Thank you.
Representative Singer.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I've got one housekeeping note and then one somber note, but I'm going to do my housekeeping note first. Joint Technology Committee will still be meeting in Senate Committee Room 357. We'll be discussing sales and use tax update. On a more somber note, and I'm going to respect the privacy of this family member in the Boulder County community right now because I haven't gotten permission from their family. But I just want to pay my respect not only to this individual who passed away due to COVID yesterday, but to everyone who has lost a family member due to COVID, to every friend and neighbor that has lost a member due to COVID. That is why we are here today and why we had this special session, is to improve the health, life, and safety of others. And in that spirit, and in the spirit of every essential worker, every first responder, every doctor, every nurse, every single person that is doing everything they can to work their way through this time, I just ask that the House take a moment of pause and reflection and silence to remember those that we have lost and also honor those that are serving us today.
Let's have a moment of silence, please. Shh.
Thank you, members.
Thank you, Representative Singer. Representative Wilson. Representative Wilson, we just lost you.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Let me get my video back on. There we go. Now I think we're live. Is that correct, Madam Speaker?
Yes.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I'd like a moment of personal privilege, if possible.
Members, we've had a member request a moment of personal privilege. Please proceed.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. First of all, I'd like to thank Representative Gray for his comments earlier. I'm personally humbled by his comments, and I find that it's rather ironic to be recognized for something that I think should just be a normal expectation in this chamber. So, colleagues, I ask that you listen to what I have to say one last time. I don't care who you are. I don't care where you're from, what your religion is, what party you belong to, or why you chose to be here. This institution is bigger than all of us. For the speaker to have to ask for quiet multiple times, I believe is outrageous in this particular chamber. The rules are pretty simple, colleagues. On third readings, sit in your seat and listen. That's the rules in third reading. If you've not yet learned the meaning of the word respect, respect for one another, respect for your elected office, respect for this institution, then I suggest that you do so before setting foot in this chamber for the 73rd General Assembly. The people of Colorado, we often forget, and if we're reminded during this time of this separation and doing things over the internet and so forth, I was constantly reminded that the people of Colorado are watching us. They have been watching us. They will be watching you in the 73rd General Assembly. And believe it or not, they expect us to behave as adults. I believe the behavior in this chamber has fallen far short of what I would call a standard of adult behavior. You all are an amazing group of people, just an amazing group. So please, please show some respect for each other and this institution. After all, this is America. We've all got the right to be wrong, so we ought to respect that. So take a moment to reflect upon your legacy. As the people of Colorado have watched us, what would be their final summary of you as a legislator? How will you be remembered? In my 8 years here, I've seen far too many legislators that are legends in their own minds. And colleagues, this chamber is not a reality talk show. It is the people's house. You wear that little black name tag for only two reasons. One, you are old enough to run. And two, you got at least one more vote than your opponent. No other qualifications were necessary, which oftentimes explains what happens here under the Golden Dome. So don't let this go to your heads, colleagues. I challenge you to be better statesmen and women and stop being politicians. That journey begins with respect. Please take the first step today. Thank you, Madam Speaker. I've enjoyed working with you. I've enjoyed working with all of you colleagues. I will miss you all. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Wilson. We will all miss you. Those are wise words from a wise man. I'm going to add my own last little statement unless there aren't any other announcements. Well, Representative Weissman.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and I guess this may be my last time here while you're there, so I will say I have enjoyed serving with you. I think everybody who stands up there where you have been standing takes on a basically insurmountable, probably transhuman task, but looking back at everything that has come through this place in the last 2 years, foremost the current pandemic, but not limited to that, it's kind of ridiculous what you've had to grapple with, and I think you've borne it admirably, so thank you. I'm here at the risk of repeating a little bit the comments that the majority leader said and Rep. Singer, but I think this point does bear repetition, and that's just kind of to end on a note of gratitude. When I came in here first thing Monday morning at the beginning of our week, there was a little Post-it note that had been left on the desk in my office by a member of the custodial staff that works for the state. This room has been cleaned, and there's a little smiley face. Welcome back, stay safe. I won't embarrass anybody by calling out her name, although she did put it there. That was honestly really touching. I didn't know that there was going to be an extra cleaning. It's even more than I expected. And I think it's both an example and a microcosm of a point that's been made and that I think we all need to bear in mind. Like Rep. Wilson said, there's 65 of us who wear these black badges. And we have our name literally in lights on this board. And then there are a lot of other people here who wear a white badge or a gold one or a red one or no badge at all. And they make the place run too. They run the desk, they do the fiscal notes, they draft the bills. Maybe they just keep the place looking respectable, a place that looks like what we ought to do here, even if we don't always measure up. They're important too. We may be here for glory, or we may think that we are, but there's a lot of people here who are just here out of dedication to this state and the idea of people banding together and debating ideas and trying to help the 6 million souls that live in this state. So I just wanted to add my thank you and to say that I hope as we come back here in not so many weeks that we bear in mind everybody else here who helps us do what we do, without whom we can't do what we do, and whose lives are impacted by what we do. So thank you, Madam Speaker.
Representative Buenteo.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. It's probably the last time I'm ever going to get to say that. You know, I remember when I first started this journey a few years ago. I love my teacher friends, but sometimes they just have the worst ideas, like running for public office. God love them. And I remember, them saying, "Hey, Bree, you should really run. Do something. You're mad about schools. Do something."
Christy?
And, my mama just didn't raise a quitter. So I did something. And I remember, Madam Speaker, you were one of the first people I called. And honestly, this nerd of a social studies teacher was like, "Oh my God, I was not prepared for the Speaker of the House to actually pick up." Almost hung the phone back up. And honestly, when I first signed up to run, I was not sure 100% that this was a good idea. Still not sure, for the record, that this was a good idea. But on a serious note, I am so proud to have served in this chamber. I have become such great friends with so many people on both sides of the aisle. I specifically want to thank the best chair of House Education, Barbara McLaughlin, who was just so great. I love her so much. And I learned so much from her. I also want to thank the best deskies of all time, Representative Tracy Kraft-Tharp and Stephen Woodrow, who sometimes reminded me, no, this is a good idea. Sit down. We'll push the button. We'll get through this. And I want to commend this entire House, because regardless of where we're sitting somewhere in this chamber, I am proud to have served in the 72nd General Assembly, because this is Colorado, as I said earlier. This isn't DC. We get stuff done. We treat each other with respect. And we all are working for what we believe is best for our neck of the woods. I don't know what's next for me, but I'm sure at some days, some occasions, I'll turn on the Colorado channel and see what all you guys are up to. And I certainly hope that same bipartisan spirit, that same hard work continues. Because frankly, my kids are counting on it. I need you guys to keep Colorado good, to make it better for my generations of students, my own son. Thank you so much for the last couple of years. It's been great to work with y'all.
It's been an honor to serve with you. So I didn't expect to be back up here, but because I am, I just can't resist the opportunity to say something. It's been interesting having really been moving away from the legislature and coming back for a few days and having a different perspective. And earlier, Speaker-elect Garnett and I were talking to some Republican leadership, and we talked about how on both sides, there's just continues to be a need for all of us to talk about reaching across the aisle. Speaker Ferrandino, when I started, used to have a saying that was, you earn your votes in the aisle, not at the well. If you ever think you're going to persuade someone by standing here at the well, you likely aren't. If you want to really be heard by the people who hold votes in this chamber, you need to just walk over and talk to them. Do it over and over again. Make those friends. Whether you're ever going to persuade that person or not, talk to them about your ideas and let them talk to you about yours. Some of the most meaningful relationships I have in this building are from folks I got to know across the aisle. And this is an opportunity to expand your own knowledge and horizons and to make a difference by just maybe walking 10 or 15 feet. So please take the time to do that. Again, it's not about, at the end of the day, you can go at the well and you have the right to speak whatever your mind is, as long as it's to the bill. But if you only want to make a point, you can do that. If you really want to make a difference, which is I think what all of us came down here to do, just walk the 15 feet, walk the 10 feet. Take the time, it's worth it. Both sides can do that better, always. And with that, if there are no other announcements or introductions, are we going into recess or are we? A brief recess? Okay. The House will be recessed for just a little bit more time till we see what the Senate does. Thank you. The House will come back to order. Speaker-elect Garnett.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I have heard of a conspiracy in the Senate to amend the Sine Die resolution and send it back. So before they're able to do that, I move that the House adjourn Sine Die from the first extraordinary session of the 72nd General Assembly.
You all have heard the motion. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. All opposed, say no.
No.
Oh my gosh, Representative Ransom. It has been an honor to serve with each and every one of you. And with that, the motion to adjourn Sine Die is adopted.